Hana girl, we gotta talk. You stepping on girl's game. You stepping in on somebody else's game. Oh man, episode 6 of Flower and Asa. What a really fantastic episode. It did really kind of feel like we were touching on 2 different characters at the same time. Obviously, Matsuyuki from the very beginning. We're seeing this dude doesn't really have a nice family. Dude's not really in a nice family. Yes, finally making a little bit of a connection there to Shura, the famous Shura, which I thought was kind of a... I don't know, I guess I really didn't see it coming. Like, it was kind of an out of nowhere kind of thing. I think the moment that he stood in front of that poster, I'm like, yeah, girl's probably a sister. They just talked about a brother and a sister. Now we have this sister. She's apparently doing something that's out of the normal, as we find out later on with the whole being a doctor thing, is all of our family have to be a doctor. Otherwise, you're not human. Okay. And yes, a little bit into Setarou. I really wasn't expecting to get into Setarou and Matsuyuki at the same time. Setarou seemingly showing signs that he's not somebody that can speak out. Somebody that has a little bit of fear of speaking out, which I thought was kind of interesting as well. But let's get into the episode proper. Episode 6, again, opening up with Matsuyuki with his family. And again, not a really good family situation, and this is kind of typical, the idea the family kind of expects you to go this one route, and it's usually always doctors. Why is it always doctors? I feel like whenever there's a character in a story that is being forced by their parents to go a certain route, it's always doctor. You have to be a doctor, otherwise you're not a human. That was rough. That was really rough. Interesting to kind of see that, yes, he did ask them to join the club, so they are aware that he is in a club. And yes, this kind of goes back to our previous kind of episode where we're touching in on him a little bit, and the idea of, okay, if you're all about efficiency, why are you in a club? If we find out in this episode exactly what that is, but it does at least show that he's not hiding the fact that he's in a club to the parents, but yet they do kind of see it as a negative. Yeah, when I heard that you were joining a club, we thought that you were going to become a failure. Great thing to tell your kid. Great thing to bring up to your kid, that we're afraid of you becoming a failure. And not only that, but a failure like your brother and sister. God damn. Not liking this family. Which does, yes, bring up the question mark. Do I think that he is going to show them up? Is he going to do something that will prove to them that the route that his sister took is correct? I'm kind of curious why. I guess they only said clubs. They don't know exactly what he's doing. But I kind of wonder if they know it is a club that has recitation of stories in it, which is exactly what his sister's doing. Now, he's doing announcing, which isn't the same thing. He could have told them that he's joining a broadcast club for announcing, and thus they don't know about it. I'm curious if what's going to happen. This will kind of be cheesy, so I don't really want this to happen, but I can kind of see this happening. And so far, this writer has shown that she's not going to do what I think it's going to do, so it's great. I wonder if it'll turn to a thing where they do end up going to one of the competition. They go to the NHK Cup, and then you have the parents come there, and then they hear Hana, and it changes their mind. I don't know. I think if anything, it has to be Matsuyuki. I think Matsuyuki has to prove something to them, but there is a side of me that almost wonders if Matsuyuki is making sort of a connection with Hana and his sister. Because it doesn't seem like he has anything against his sister. And I kind of, now that I think about it, I kind of want to go back to when Kichijoji was actually showing the footage of Shura and seeing if there was some sort of facial expression of Matsuyuki. Did he respond to it in some way? I don't think he did. Otherwise, it would have stuck out to me. But I'm kind of curious at this point if there was something there. Which does... Damn. The fact that On said that about her, now that I think about it, the fact that On said that nasty stuff about Shura... Oof. Right in front of Matsuyuki. And again, that's basically On, who is seemingly right now likes Matsuyuki and would want to pursue him. Now finding out about that, I don't think that she'd want to... I think that probably looked pretty bad upon him, On. I don't think you're on his good favor. Now, granted, even after those statements she made, Matsuyuki was still standing up for On. Again, I still think that he does see quite a bit of himself in On, despite the fact that we found in this episode that it wasn't because of On that I thought that he joined the club for. He's joined the club because, similar to Hana, Mizuki said something. Mizuki acknowledged something besides his grades was great, and that's why he joined. So I don't know. It was a little bit bad there. But yeah, anyways, I'll be curious if how the resolve will be for his parents, and I think it might just be through his own actions. And I think that would be a more sweet thing there. And the idea that he does something like this that is not a doctor, and he achieves something. But I don't know how, any way, that can somehow change their perspective on his sister. It just won't. I don't know. It's just, I think in the end, it's one of those things where I just don't think there is a fix. In the end, it's kind of an acceptance thing. And in a way that's sort of what molded him the way that he is, good or bad. The action is bad, just him himself. Will he find it to be a blessing or a curse in the end? That's always a question mark when it comes to very overbearing parents like that, which is, again, it sucks. Like, no matter how you cut it, it sucks. But anyways, we go to school. We have the point in which they're choosing their roles. Everybody chooses what we pretty much have already kind of pre-established at this point. Even Shura over there like, yeah, I told you from the beginning, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. I'm doing production stuff. Setarou over there all jealous, like, damn it, I want to... Which is so interesting. Setarou's really like sitting there going, this sucks. So you have to suffer like I did. And then we have this little moment later on where Hana is with Setarou, and there is sort of a feeling here where Setarou wasn't able to. He wishes that he can say no, but he doesn't say no. They were like, yeah, you don't really have to do it. Yeah, but I'm not good at saying no. Shura said no, but I can't do that. In that moment, I'm not able to do that. I have no ability to do that. Which, yeah, again, to what we end up having Hana read, which I'll get into later on, it does seem like that's really heavily hitting on to Setarou's character, that this guy is just, he needs to learn how to speak up. He needs to learn how to speak up. And there's almost a question mark that could turn into something where normally he would say no. And again, similar to Matsuyuki, like I was saying earlier, does it turn into a blessing or a curse? In the end, does it turn into a blessing or a curse? But yeah, they choose their roles. They get into the production side of things, which is apparently what Shura is going to be involved with. Make it a TV drama. I'll be interested in how that turns out, because I thought this was going to be completely nothing but announcing and recitation. But apparently they're going to get into actually producing a TV drama, which is interesting. Apparently the second air has already built a TV documentary, which is interesting. They do TV documentary, TV drama, or radio broadcast. So I like the fact that everybody's like, no, we're not doing that. And no, we're not doing that. Then suddenly, I don't know where Matsuyuki's like, yeah, I'll do the script for it. And then suddenly Han's over there like, well, I guess if he wants to do it, then I guess we'll do it. It's like, girl, you're such a tsundere. Girl, you're such a tsundere. It's great. She's continues to be the tsundere queen. She's continued to be that. But anyways, it was interesting because, yes, they get into how they're doing with the actual announcings, which they're going to be doing their own little entries. And yes, the assumption there is that unlike recitation, announcers have to write their own script. Which right here, An's shooting herself in the foot. An's here pretty much trying to show Hana how that's a great thing. That yes, being able to do this, doing the announcing right there, the cool thing about it, you get to write your own scripts. So that's one of the cool benefits of it. And she kind of, you get like a little puffy thing, like, yeah, it's one of those cool things you get to do when you do this. Not a mean way. I mean, I definitely see that An's changed quite a bit in this episode. But then later on, having her get Hana walk into the room and she's literally has all these changes she has to make to her script and she's lost. Like she just doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, girl was puffing up earlier. Guess that blew up in your face, didn't it? I thought that was kind of a cute little justice there. But no, that's when we get into them actually choosing their the scripts they're going to be doing, the recitation, which books they're going to read out of. And I thought it was a very interesting little segment here because, again, it gets into the fact that, yes, they have to choose something that is within a time frame. Like your actual thing that you're reading, you have to be able to read it within this time. And so Hana, despite the fact of having this one quote that she wants to so badly do, it's not the right amount of time. And so there's several things to go in here. One is the fact that, yes, it has to fall in a time bracket. But additionally, yes, you have to consider, is it a coherent story? Because you're only going to read a snippet of an entire book. Is it something people will understand? It's cool to actually have to think about those kind of things when they're choosing what they're choosing. But I like the fact that Kishijoji in the end does come back with some really good options. Like this dude gets called away to go somewhere. He comes back and goes, okay, boom, here. These are all the places that you can do it. Like, dude's learned. Dude knows these books ins and outs. And I guess there could be an aspect of him kind of being familiar with it because it is a common story to actually read out of. But it was really cool to kind of see him come in and say, okay, so this is important to you. How about this spot, this spot, this spot? So she's able to find the compromise. She's able to find that line that she likes so much, but this works so much better. We'll do that. That works. But no, while he was gone, very interesting little segment here, again, getting into Setarou and what seems to be his kind of hang-up. And the idea that he doesn't know how to speak out. He's unable to say no in situations, and that's sort of something that bugs him. But again, I kind of wonder if there's going to be an element where he will find that doing the stuff, despite the fact that I don't like it, it is something that I do get some kind of joy out of. He just doesn't know it yet. Because I did this, I got out of my comfort zone. I just don't want to admit it. I was struggling this entire time. But again, yet right here, you can make an argument, is he being forced right now? Question mark. Or is he still going to go along with it? Again, what they kind of joked about several times was in this first year, he was forced to have to do something. So it's like this whole joke where he's going, you all have to suffer like I did. You all have to suffer like I did. I got forced to have to do it my first year. You have to do it too. And then right here, he's saying yes again. He's choosing something. But again, he didn't have to. He just is unable to say no. He's not forced to. He just won't say no. So again, there is a question mark here if Setarou's whole thing here is going to get into is essentially him learning how to speak up and not regretting not taking action. But it gets better later on, as we do have, again, when Hana finally gets his the choice point that she's going to have, thanks to Kichijoji, what does the lines of the actual script say? I always love how these recitations, what they're reading actually kind of reflects on the story being told. In this little segment that Kichijoji ends up choosing, and I kind of wonder if he knows about this. I kind of wonder if he chose it for that reason. But he gave multiple choices, and this is the one that she chose. What fell from my lips was my favorite line. I knew it all along. Sometimes the message doesn't get across, even if you try. That's why I should reach out. In the end, I always run away. I only care about my ego, and I'm afraid of getting hurt. That's why I lose sight of what's important. And you could say that Setarou is getting swept up in it because of how well she's reading it, but I think that there is an element here where it's resonating with him. There's something resonating here with him. And again, I think there is a nice thing so far this writer has done with the story in the idea that a lot of these characters have sort of similar issues, just in different ways. They're all, it's the concept of they're all in the same book, just different page. They're all in the same book, just different page. They're not on the same page. They've never been on the same page. They're different people, but they're all in the same book. They just have to kind of reflect on each other by changing the pages around. It sort of makes me believe this line resonates with him in the idea that he has problems with doing what he wants to do. He's always running away. He never speaks up. He's always afraid of causing a problem. I only care about my ego and I'm afraid of getting hurt. I always end up running away. I lose sight of what's important. Again, I'll be very curious about Setarou's character. I think after On's been done, for the most part, I'm very curious about Setarou's character. Yes, I'm liking Matsuyuki so far. It's just kind of a tragic story. But I am very curious about Setarou's character at this point. So we'll see. But yeah, the other little bit they had here was Setarou kind of trying to give Hana a little bit of a warning. That she is acknowledging the fact that she is sort of easily influenced. He's like, when I first joined, it was like a lot of fun. This place is normally a lot of fun. The broadcast club itself is really, really fun. But this place is becoming more competitive now. This school is becoming more competitive because we have On and we have Mizuki, which I don't think I've ever really noticed before that Mizuki was a very competitive person. It makes sense because when she first confronted Hana, she wanted Hana because she was good, and she says, yeah, there's an NH cup. But technically, she brought up the cup because Hana was, yes, joking about, like, I didn't know you guys had competitions, but she was bringing up a competition. So it does seem like Mizuki wants to compete. On's very much about winning. And so he's feeling that it's getting more competitive. And again, this might get in that whole idea of his inner conflicts and not speaking out and saying no, and additionally, the idea of running away. So I think that's what we're going to get into with his character, is that he just doesn't really want to get involved. He's afraid of something. He's afraid of something. Could it be ego-related? That's a question mark. But going back to Hana, he's telling her, look, you are different than them. You seem like a blank sheet. I don't get something from you. I don't get that you're competitive or anything. But he's also saying you look like you're easily influenced, which I mean, everybody can see that. Even On was saying that about her. And again, I think that the reason that On's bringing it up, the reason that Setarou's bringing it up, everybody sees the same thing. She goes with the flow. This girl doesn't seem to have her own path set because she spent too long saying yes to everything. And now when she's got a new path, she's just going with it. Again, yes, there's an argument to be made that she hasn't changed at all. It seems like she's changed in joining this. She finally spoke up and said, I want to do this club. Can I do this club? I'm finally asking for something, which she never wanted to say before because she didn't want to seem selfish. But here she's just going with the flow again. She's saying yes to everything. She's right back to where she was before. This time now it's, yes, technically she's chasing after Mizuki, but Mizuki's kind of guiding her, giving her that path that she goes down. So again, I think he's bringing it up for a very good reason. This club offers freedom. Be aware that you're easily influenced. He's not saying get away from the club, again, because he's saying it's fun. It's full of freedom. He's just saying don't go with what everybody has you do, which is cool. But yes, that all leads into Hana going back over to the club, running into An. An's having trouble with her script. I love the little goofy little exchange they have where An's just kind of like, this is the problem. Hana's like, I like food. She's like, it's not the problem. Why did I even bring this up with you? And then, yes, Matsuyuki walks in, talks about how she's wrote so much already. Yep, yeah, oh, she gets a little puffed up there. And the fact that Matsuyuki hasn't done his interview yet, he wants Hana. I was like, okay, oh damn, we're going to go down that route. We're going to have An super jealous of Hana getting too much attention from Matsuyuki. I hope it doesn't go that route. I mean, there's a feeling that Matsuyuki has an admiration, and yes, technically, he relates a lot with her. But yeah, I hope that doesn't turn into something. Like the entire time they're having the interview, Hana looking over and seeing that stare, An staring in there like, damn it, girl. That was some good stuff. But no. The little conversation was great, though, because it does seem like Matsuyuki does really respect Hana in a lot of ways, and again, relates to her in a lot of ways. And the idea of, I heard from the, that little introductions that we had that you used to do recitations for the kids. And he's like, yeah, I've never been that proactive. That's really cool. He's like, I admire you for that. I was never that type of person to be proactive. And again, I think that's because Matsuyuki, in his home, is told to do this. He never goes out of his way to set his own stuff up or achieve things outside of that mold that his family wants, until now that he's joined this club, but he's always done whatever his parents want him to do. And so he sees sort of an admiration in Hana. Like, he admires her for being able to do that. I'd never be able to do that. But then, like I said, everything else seems to be on the same page. So I think what they're kind of painting here is that Matsuyuki sees himself in Hana. And I think he also sees his sister. In himself, in Hana, it's the idea that she's just like me. Like, she wants to be wanted. She wants to have something that everybody kind of sees and praises her for, acknowledges her for. Yeah, I want my parents to acknowledge me. Not having a great time with that, but it is what it is. But similar to you, I want people to acknowledge me. I can relate to you. Yeah, I don't want to give up this one thing because it'll make me feel empty. I relate to you. He relates and relates and relates. But despite relating to her, despite us being kind of similar, you're proactive. You're able to get outside of your mold and do something that my parents wouldn't let me do. I respect that. It is kind of interesting. And again, I do really think that there's a lot here that will end up connecting to Shura, his sister. I do think that, obviously, because Hana does recitation, but I think he probably sees a lot of Shura in her, and I'm curious if there'll become a time where that will come up. And the idea that he goes, Hana, I was taking an interest in you because you remind me a lot of my sister. The way that you act, the way that you're so passionate and into your reading, it's like my sister. You love doing recitation. My sister does too. And I think that'll kind of break that mold as to what they've sort of pre-established his sister is. That she's all about making money. She's all about the business. She got successful through her club, and then she went out and made a bunch of money. What a terrible person. No, she probably loves it. And she probably had to fund it in some way. And that's probably why she chose that path. I just thought about it. I just thought about it. What if the reason that Shura went the path that she did was to get out of her parents' home? That's easy answer right there. This answers it for me. I bet you the reason why the moment that she was successful in her recitation at her club, the reason why she immediately went out and sold a bunch of stuff is because she wanted to be able to live on her own. Parents were so mad at her, so irate at her. She's like, I want to make this my living. And they're like, no, you can't do that. You have to be a doctor. Your grades are horrible. Don't be a failure. I have to get out of here. I have to move out on my own. This kid is literally, I think she was still in high school at the time, had to get out of that house. How do I do that? I need money. That's why she did it. No doubt that's why she did it. Which again sucks. And it could have been an aspect that she needed to prove to her parents that it's a way to make money. But I don't think they care about the money. I think they care about the idea that you're supposed to be a doctor. Because a doctor is what makes you human, because you'll be helping people or some crap like that. I don't know. Saving lives. This idea of holier than thou. But I think that's going to be it. She did that in order to live on her own. And I think that's going to blow up in On's face when she realizes that. But yeah, eventually he's like, I want to see that. Can I come over there? And then, yes, the glares from On. She's like, yeah, I think we should invite some other people. And everybody ends up going there. That was a really sweet little scene. Her in there kind of doing her reading a cute little story about the little fox in a pancake. And then afterwards, everybody kind of confronting her. Super cool stuff. On coming up there and saying that you've been doing this whole time. I'm impressed. Get a little bit of a bump there from On sort of acknowledging her for what the hard work that she does, which is really cool. And then, yeah, Matsuyuki walking up and thanking her for all the material for his interview, which I'm sure will be a really cool interview. I'd be curious if there's some, again, parallels to Shura in that whole thing, his sister. Really cool. And again, him acknowledging the fact that you started something like this. You put this event together. And yes, it seems simple, but on a small little island like this, her having all these people kind of gathering around to kind of listen to her and her reaching out to all the kids. And again, all of their parents acknowledge how much their kids love her. It's a cool little thing there. And yeah, cute little moment at the end there with the mom saying, you look like you're having a lot of fun. Yep. This cute little moment with the mom. And then, yes, them all on the boat going away and On looking over at him like, damn, I gotta step it up. Hana's gonna take my boy away. But no, Matsuyuki getting the text from his sister that there's seats available for family and friends when you want to come to the performance. And again, it even said the name there. The show was called Yell, and that was the title of the poster, what was on the poster when he first walked by it. It's definitely Shura, so we'll see. I think something like that's going to come to head. I'd be curious if he ends up bringing Hana with him, which again will suck because then On's going to be jealous of the whole situation. But I can see him because obviously he knows that On doesn't like Shura. I don't know if Hana has said that she looked up to Shura, because it did show that Shura, if I remember correctly, was the one that inspired her originally to start it. Or at least she was watching that after she got inspired to actually do recitation. But either way, I kind of wonder if she's ever mentioned that, and that Matsuyuki knows that she likes him. Either way, he might end up bringing Hana with him, and that might end up kind of opening the door there to kind of see the inspiration and inspiring kind of thing. But either way, cool stuff. Really cool episode. Really, really loved it. So much to talk about. What a great show. I think overall I just love this show so much. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed my video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below, comment, let me know what's like the episode. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Like this content, you want to support more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all take care.